Hi everyone, so today's video I'm going to be talking about my time living in England. I'm going to be sharing some pictures and talk to you guys about some of the day-to-day things me and Jevan would get into, and I'll even tell you guys about the road trip that we went on. It was my first time driving European style, so it was a little interesting. So yeah, go ahead and grab yourself a cup of coffee, some tea, sit back, relax, and just hang out with me for a little bit. So I was living in England for about 3 months, from early January to early April, and I was about 3 months pregnant when we left, and we came back just before my cutoff to no longer be able to fly because I was pregnant. And right off the bat, I have to say that it was an amazing experience being in England. I know there are many factors that come into play with pregnancy, but for me, being pregnant and being over there, it was just amazing. It was calm, it was peaceful, it was just perfect, I think, for me. A huge shout out to my hubba hubba, of course, for being amazing, but it was just bomb. So yeah, let's begin. So when we first got there, we probably spent about 8 or 10 days just traveling around to different places before we actually went to where we were living. We went to London, we went to Great Yarmouth and Durham, which was actually the closest town to where we were staying. I had a lot of fun doing the touristy thing, but I found that I was so exhausted from walking. We did take the underground and buses to the different places, but sometimes the things that we wanted to see were pretty close to each other, so it just made more sense to walk to them. But yeah, I remember the first time, I think when we were in London, the first day I walked around 7.5 miles, which I was pregnant, like three months pregnant. I know some people have different experiences, but I was tired. I was exhausted. In the first days we were there, we went to the British Museum, Westminster Abbey, Big Ben, and the London Eye. We walked around Hyde Park and Kensington Palace, and then we visited the Natural History Museum. So Jevan and I usually try to go to the museums. We just find them so interesting, but I remember for these few first days, we really enjoyed the British Museum. I think we spent almost an entire day the time that we visited. It was awesome. Then we went to Great Yarmouth and we walked along the coast. The town was mostly closed down. I don't think specifically because of COVID. I think it's probably just because it was January and business was slow. But it's mostly like a summer town, I think. Man, of the hypes. Come on, give me some boogie. No, like some boogie dancing. Once we were all toured out, we went to stay at Jevan's grandparents' house, which is in a town near Durham, which is in Norfolk. I'm gonna try to say it right because every time that I say Norfolk, and he just laughs at me. So he's reminded me that it's called Norfolk. Yeah, that area is so beautiful and green and peaceful. There are some beautiful churches and some old castles as well that Jevan and I got to explore. Wow. We would try to go walking almost every day, and we even made some animal friends.
Damn, hubba hubba. Why you so handsome? Hi guys. Hi horsies. That's the OG of the field. Yep, limping and everything. This one's just questioning our motives.
Let's lay down.
Oh, he's laying down?
Can't even see. Exhausted. Thinking of him fighting.
Oh my god. La vaca, moo.
Our daily days consisted of warm drinks, bus rides, and pregnancy yoga for me. I felt like I needed to keep active, but mostly stretch out my body because I was having a lot of hip and back pain around that time, and the pregnancy yoga really helped me cope. And also Nubia was starting to kick quite a bit then. In February, for Jevan's birthday, we went to Norwich and stayed for a couple of days to check out a few places we hadn't been to before.
We are in Norwich. We're gonna celebrate my honey's birthday.
Wee.
Yay! How do you feel?
Feeling good.
Good. Looking
Very
good.
I'm 86.
You're 86?
I'm 27.
27? What?
Or somewhere in between.
Hi everybody! Gotta love these muddy walks. Now that I'm prepared. When I'm not prepared, I don't like it. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? They're talking to me, mate. Easy, mate, easy.
We went to the beautiful plantation garden, which is next to the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist. We got massages and walked around to different churches and around Norwich Market.
I love all these great.
Yeah. We visited Norwich a couple times while we were there and even before, and there are so many things to do and see. Some other places to check out would be Norwich Castle, Elm Hill, Norwich Cathedral, Thorpe Marshes, and Castle Quarter. I always enjoyed going to Norwich. There was always something new to see or explore, and it was a lot of fun. Before our road trip, we also visited Sheringham, which is another coastal town that faces the North Sea.
We made it to the beach! Yeah!
Around this time, we were starting to get our first bits of sunny days, so we made the most of it and we hiked up this short hill called the Beast and Bump.
Little baby, look at where we're taking you. On top of the world! Climb up that hill.
As we approached the end of our stay, Jevan and I decided to go on a road trip to Land's End, which is in Penzance. So we rented a car in Durham, and Jevan was trying to be all bougie and tried to book a Mercedes, but I think they ended up giving us a Lexus. It was so funny, that whole thing. But there are a few things to note being an American driving in the UK. One, the roads are narrow and you must master the roundabouts really quick. Dos, even if you know how to drive a manual, get yourself an automatic. Save yourself the trouble. You already have a bunch of other things to worry about out there. Just get yourself an automatic. And 3, no driving like an a-hole, no cutting people off, no speeding, and respect the passing lane on the highway. To be honest, I think I only had maybe 1 or 2 little panic episodes, but I think it was relatively easy to get used to quick. So on our way, we stopped at Stonehenge. The site was so incredible. I don't know exactly how to explain the feeling, but it was just like being in a majestic area full of such fascinating history. Honestly, if you book maybe 2 or 3 days around the area, you can go on long, beautiful hikes and tours. You can check out the museum and read about the people and history behind Stonehenge. After Stonehenge, we went to Bath, #spa. Personally, I loved it there. To me, it seems bigger than Norwich, but, or maybe there's just more people. There's more of like a city feel to it with some sprinkling of ancient history. While we were there, we went to the Roman baths and saw Bath Abbey from the outside. We walked to Putney Bridge and the Parade Gardens, and then we walked to the Royal Crescent. We also shopped around a little bit and then drove to Alexandra Park, which has this amazing view of the city. From Bath, we drove to Budleigh Salterton to meet up with one of Jevan's friends. We stayed somewhere around there, and then the next day we went to go meet up with some other friends, and we went to the Eden Project. So the Eden Project has these giant biomes that house plants and trees from all over the world. I hope I'm not mistaken, but one is a rainforest biome and the other one is like a dry desert one. We must have spent a whole day there. Honestly, it was so amazing to see how much love and care the gardeners and the artists put into that place. Jevan and I loved the Eden Project, but we also liked being around friends, so it was nice to catch up. Before reaching Land's End, we stopped at St. Michael's Mount. It looks like this giant fortress just right off the coast that you can walk to when the tide goes down. And it was crazy because when we got there, the tide was up, so it just looked like an island, you know, a little bit away off the coast. But after a couple hours, when the tide goes down, you can just see this cobbled pathway that goes up to it, and you can just walk. You can walk there. I was so scared because the tide had just gone down, so we started to walk, and there were still some small little waves like washing up, and I was like holding on to Jevan for dear life. It was slippery too, and I was like, oh my god, Diosito. I was scared.
Qué atrevida. Ay, Dios mío.
Once we got there, we still wanted to go to the castle and see inside, so we bought some tickets and we climbed up the hill to go to the castle. And honestly, I was like killing it. I was over here passing left, like old people left and right, and honestly, I was pulling a brave face because I was sweating. I was like breathing all hard and I was dying, but I wanted to go see the castle. So we finally made it to Land's End. It was so peaceful and beautiful and sunny. We walked around and we soaked in some sun. This was our last touristy spot before driving all the way back. So it was nice just to be by ourselves and relax and just take a moment to pause on everything for a bit. Jevan and I shared some candies and some drinks on the beach before we drove back. So overall, my stay in England was amazing. I'm so glad and fortunate to be able to call it a second home and hopefully a more permanent home in the future. as Nubia grows. There are still so many things that I'd like to do and explore out there. So that's it. In a nutshell, please comment if you guys have any questions, or even if you have any recommendations of things that we can do when we go back the next time. Thanks for spending this time with me and listening to my England adventure. I hope that you hang around for the next video.